Hello everybody. Today we are going to discuss how MySQL database can be connected to Python and why we need such a connection and what is the importance of a database in the programming. So Python is a programming language, and it has lots of ways to store data also, but we need database for storing bigger data. Usually we use databases for this purpose for storing the data, because database provides you good security, standardization and everything. And there is a particular language that we can use with the database, which is called SQL, structured query language, easily manageable language it is. So to develop a program, this Python like program, it needs MySQL like databases. It may not be MySQL database, it can be SQLite or SQL data DBMS. It can be any DBMS. So Python can use MySQL database, and for this it needs MySQL connector, which is an important part. So MySQL connector, without MySQL connector, it may not be possible for you to use this connectivity, or you cannot use MySQL in Python. So MySQL allows you to download a connector using it's a library actually. It is a library which can be imported in the Python program for this connection. So it has a connect object, connect function. It has a connect function which receives the properties of the database that you want to connect to. So you can provide the MySQL database properties. So once it has been created, we get a handle to that connection, and we get a handle to take the input, or take the value from the database and use it. This handle is called a cursor. So there should be a connection just to open the database. Okay, then there is this cursor just to receive the data from the database and work on the received data. Now what are the steps? These steps are very important. You have to remember the steps, because most of the database program connectivity has these steps. Most of the program database connectivity. So since we are using a Python program, we can start a Python program, then import. Yes, we have to download. We downloaded the MySQL connector library. Just import it using the import statement of Python. So open a connection. Connection has to be opened. Once a connection is open, you have to hold off a cursor. To have a cursor just to hold on to the data received by the program from the database. Then once the cursor has been created, execute the query. So the query should be there. Without the query, there is no result at all. So once the query is there, once you execute the query using the cursor object, cursor instance you would say, of the class MySQL connector, you will get some data from the database, and it is given to you like a result set. Result set is the data extracted from the database through the particular query. Okay, and it is available in the object cursor, and use that. You want to display it, or whatever you want to do that, and clean up the environment. So execute the query means it can be insert, create, update, delete, or just to select. There can be any kind of query, but if you want to get a result set, it has to be some kind of retrieval statement, select statement. The other ones will not get you some results that will commit the database. Some changes will be made to the database. So these are the different steps. Now let's see the steps in detail. So how do you import a MySQL connector? In the program we are going to import MySQL connector using this statement, that is import MySQL dot connector as DB. So this is another name for MySQL dot connector. You can see that the particular word MySQL dot connector, that thing itself is big. So every time if you want to use that connector, you cannot write MySQL dot connector. So there will be a too much difficulty for the programmer to type all these. So just to rename it as DB so that it becomes easier for you to handle. So named it as DB alias name. Okay, now open a connection. For opening a connection you need some values. I told you, just to open a connection you need to know the properties of the database that you're handling. And what are the things you need? You can say that host you need, the username, the password, and the database that you're going to access in this MySQL. So what is the statement that creates this connection? So there should be a connection object. Connection object is equal to just a variable name, it is no problem at all. So connection object, this part is inevitable. MySQL connector dot connect is the function. Connect, where it is coming from the library, from the package MySQL dot connector. But you don't have to write it completely, you can just write db dot connect, because we already renamed MySQL dot connector as DB. So you can just write db dot connect. Here host is equal to host name. So host name you have to specify what is a host database server. In this case you can just mention localhost. User is actually, you can rename your database username and password, but in this session in our database we didn't make any change at all. So the username is root, the usual username of the database MySQL. Okay, root, and the password is just nothing, blank it is. We didn't change anything. So password you have to mention. Then this is an optional part, but just mention that database is equal to database name. Now query, sorry, the example, connection example, SQL connector as DB, we imported that. Now DBS is the connection object. Connection object is equal to db dot connect. Host is localhost, user is root, the default one, password is blank, but you have to, even if it is blank, you have to give it. Then DB is school. School is the database name here. This is the database name, school. So whichever database that you have created, you just mention that here. Now DBS is the connection instance of MySQL connector package. Connection instance. Now this DBS contains the connection to the database. Now we have to create a cursor to handle the data we get from it, or just to execute the query you need a cursor. It's like a handle. Now special control structure is cursor. It facilitates row by row processing of the result set. So result set, we have been hearing this thing in the previous slide also. So what is a result set? It is a set of records retrieved from the database by executing an SQL query. So when you execute a query, you will receive some records from the database. These records are, here we name them as result set. The result will be available in the cursor. Cursor is used to access those results and even to execute the query also. So how do you create a cursor? We have been talking about cursor. But what is this cursor? We have seen it. How do you create this after the connection is established? DBS is the connection instance. I hope you remember. DBS holds the connection now. And cursor is created using the class cursor. So this one is a built-in value. Here, this one is built-in value cursor. dbs dot cursor is how you create the cursor. So this cursor is just a value or just a variable like thing. So this object cursor is equal to dbs dot cursor. Now it has the cursor in the name cursor itself. Now how do you execute a query? So first 3 steps finished. Connection to the database, cursor has been created, import, first one was import. So these 3 are done. The next one is to execute the query. So whatever be your query, you will use the cursor object cursor to execute. Execute is a built-in function, and within the parenthesis you mention the query. This is how you execute it. Just run the statement. Whatever query you are executing inside will be executed, and the result will be available in cursor. Very interesting. Now, once the result is received in the cursor, you need to extract it. So extracting the result from the result set and printing it on the screen is a wonderful job. You can do this one using any one of these fetch statements. Fetch from the cursor. The data is already there in the result set. From the result set you can extract them using the cursor. Cursor now contains it actually. So you can extract one by one row by row, because a set of records will be there, one or more records, or there can be null record also. None will also be there. When a query executes, nothing is there to select, like that. So it depends. So these are the different types of fetch that you can do, or some other function also. It's not a function but a statement that you can use just to count the number of rows returned by the query. Now fetch one is one row by row you can execute. You can fetch. First row you can fetch, then go to the next row, fetch it, then go to the next row, fetch it, until it finishes the every records retrieved by the query. Now fetch all means at the same time you are fetching every row that has been returned, that has been retrieved after the select statement. Fetch many, here you can mention the row count. Suppose in the select statement, once the select statement has been executed, there are 5 rows in the result set, but you don't need 5. Then in the first case, if you need 3 rows from the beginning, you can mention it fetch many. In the fetch many function, you need only 3 rows. It is possible. Now once you display the result, once it has been committed, when the query has been executed, once you're done with the database connectivity, just close the connection. Open the jar, take the sugar, put the lid back. This is the practice. So we opened the connection, we did the necessary jobs we want to do inside the database. Now we are going to close the connection, which is done using the statement dbs.close. This is used to close the connection. Now we are going to see a wonderful example of this. See, here all these steps you can see once again. Very easy query, very easy program. It is containing repeated statements are there, so there's no issue. You can easily understand and do this. Remember only few codes. First one is this one, import MySQL connector class as DB. Now DBS is the connection object. Now DBS contains the connection. How it is connected? db.connect, host, username, password, and DB has been mentioned. This one should not change the spelling. User DB, you're not just specifying database name or nothing like that. It is DB. Okay, now look at this DB. Now print the data in the table. So first what we are doing is, after creating the cursor, We just want to know what is there in the particular table. Yeah, we mention only class table here. The data already in the table we first mention, we just display the data, and after displaying the data we try to execute a query in the second part. This is the second part, and this is the third part. This is the first part. So lots of different types of queries I am showing inside the single function, single program. So let's look into the first part. This first part just displays the data within the class table. Now, what is the query? Select star from class is our query. So the select star from class query, this query is now stored in a variable r. We just have to mention this r inside the execute command. The statement executes the query. Cursor dot execute r. Select star from class will be executed, and cursor will now contains the result set. Now what are you doing? Fetch all function is used to access the data, and this is the statement. Data is equal to cursor dot fetch all. So every record returned by the select star from class query will be stored in data as a list of rows. Okay, now row in data, in this case each value in data will be taken. So row will contain the first row from the data, that means first value in the list will be the first row, second value in the list will be the second row from the table. Okay, retrieved value I am talking about. So each row will be printing. This is the first part of the program, printing already existing data in the table. And the second part executes another query, and the query can be defined by the user. This is the difference in this program. So this is an example I am giving you just to explain how to execute different types of queries. Here the user can enter a particular query and it is stored in queue. If the user entered a query, if queue is not blank, queue has some data, cursor will try to execute that query. If it executes, then it can be the query like create. This query can be create, insert, alter, delete, update. So it can be any such query. You can mention any such query. If it is making some change in the database schema or the database value, this particular thing has to be committed. A particular statement, commit, should be written here just to make the differences written back to the database. Commit statement will help for that. So we just executed the query, insert into table values, some values are mentioned. So just to write these contents, now we are writing in the buffer. We want the data to be written in the database itself. That thing will be done by the commit command. dbs.commit connection. The dbs is a connection object. Connection.commit. This has to be committed. Now the value from the buffer will be written back to the database. So second part is just to execute any query that you want to. Now the third one displays the database data after executing two. So the third part is just again the first one, taking the value select star from class and executing the query and fetch all, and here display the data row by row. It is taken each value from data. Data is a list now, list containing all the rows from the database, class. Okay, table value class. Okay, now it is displaying row by row. First value will be the first row, second value of data will be the second row. It goes on and displays the same. The first part is just repeated here. You can even create a function also, no issue, so that you don't have to write the same code twice. No need of writing the same code twice. You can just make a function and do this. Finally, after everything, you can just close the database. Now we are going to see the output. So here, this is the initial, this is the result of the first part, and second part is starting here. The program is asking us to enter the query. The query entered is, again, this is the first part, and the query I entered is update class set percentage equal to 60 where roll number is 78. Look at the 78, its percentage is 80, but the marks scored by the student is 60. So I just want to change that percentage to 60. This row, this particular column is percentage, it is 80. I would just want to change this to 60. Okay, that is the query. Update class set percentage is equal to 60 where roll number equal to 78. This is the roll number. In the first part I forgot to display the heading, but here in the third part, this is the third part. This part is second, just receiving a new query from the user. This is the first part. In the third part I included the heading also of the table, name, roll number, name, mark, grade and percentage. You can see that for the 78 roll number student, the percentage has been changed to 60 instead of 80 using this query. Next is again same program I am running again. You can see that the previous change already here. So this is the first part. Now in the second part starting, we are entering a new statement which is an insert into command. So in the database now you have 4 values and we are trying to enter the 5th value here, which is insert into class values 12, Alexa 98, grade is a 98 is a percentage, and we are just going to see it. So once it has been given, the second part is completed, and the third one is to display the data base table value class and checking whether the value has been added or not. When you check, yes, it is added after the insert command. You don't have to go to the database at all. You can just access the database using Python. The first part displaying the data, make the change and check the data from Python itself. Another one. So we saw update statement, insert statement. Now I am going to show you alter the table. Here you can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 columns, attributes. 5 is the degree of this particular table. Now you want to drop the column percentage. Remember, this is how you drop a particular column using the alter table command. Another reminder. So alter table class drop column percentage. Which column you want to drop? Percentage is the column that you want to drop. Just execute this command. Now what happens? Percentage, the name is there, it is not part of the table, this particular string, but from all these value which has been returned from the database, the percentage, the last 80, 90, 60, 89, all these parts have vanished. The last column has been removed, dropped the column percentage from the database table. It is done. So no need of going back to the Python or PHP MyAdmin for checking this. It is possible through Python itself. Using the same code we used in the first part. And second part, as the code says, you can check the code again. The second part is only having 2 statements, execute a query and commit it. Using only these 2 statements, you can do update, insert, alter also you have seen. Okay, now so this is the database in which percentage has been removed and most of the other values are here. Now we are going to see how we are fetching. We have been using fetch all statement till now. Now we are going to see fetch one by one. How can you fetch? So this is same as the previous value, fetch all. Here row or whichever variable you can mention here is equal to cursor of fetch one. Now first row, only the first row will be fetched and stored in row. This method retrieves the next row of a query result set. Next row of a query result set will be stored in it, and nothing will be stored if no row is available to fetch. The fetch one method is used by fetch all and fetch many. So in fetch all, you return take one by one and consolidate it, you can say. So fetch many also, one by one you are taking and making it together and making it a result set. So this is possible. So fetch one is used by fetch all and fetch many. It is also used when a cursor is being iterated. Now this is an example. So this one just fetches the data from the database using the fetch one operator, and you can see that the first three steps are very the same. Now execute command also the same, select star from the class. Now instead of fetch all, we are just mentioning first line is fetched, cursor dot fetch one, which is stored in data. And while data is not none, we are just making sure that there is a row to return. If nothing is there in data, you cannot print anything. So we are just making sure that data has some row to display. That is this function, the loop. While data is not none. None is nothing. Empty, it is void. So we are just making sure it is not void and printing the line. The first line is printed, first record is printed. Now we have to fetch the next one. How? Cursor dot fetch one. So the second record will be fetched, and we just make sure that after fetching it will go here, right, to the while header, and again it checks whether the line is none, empty or not. If there is a row there, if it is there, print it, fetch the next. If it is there, print it, fetch the next. If it is there, print it, fetch the next. So it goes on until there is no row to return at all, starting from the first row of the result set. Not from the table it is directly taking. It takes the result set after executing the query. So the number of rows that you see totally depends on the query that you are executing. Here select star is done. That means the total cardinality. Cardinality is the number of rows, number of records. The total record will be retrieved. Now this value, row count, we have seen fetch one and fetch all. Now what is this row count statement? We just want to find what is the row count, or what is the number of rows returned by this query after executing, or how many rows have been inserted, and when you delete, how many rows are deleted from the database. These are all possible through this particular row count. It returns the number of rows returned by a select statement, or a number of rows affected by the DML statement insert or update. Number of statements updated, number of statements inserted or deleted also. Number of rows affected, or number of rows returned, retrieved using select command. It can be anything. So this is an example. So in the first one, we are just fetching all the data and displaying it, first part. Second one is executing the query received by the user, and third one is just checking how many rows are affected. This is the program. The first part is similar to the previous program. The third part is now just show the number of rows affected by the query executed in the second stage. So these are the rows. The query that we are executing is insert into. So we are just entering only one row in it. So the number of row affected will be 1. What is the query executed? Just created c is equal to cursor of row count. C is any variable, it can be ABCD or whatever. Cursor dot row count returns a value, the number of rows that has been affected. Cursor now contains the result, right? So very easy to row the count in the result, and C now contains the result, number of rows in the result, and printing it now. Another example, here update command is executed. So this is the value inside the table. Here the change that we are making is all those who scored the mark greater than or equal to 90, we are making their grade A plus instead of A. So the students who scored greater than or equal to 90 are 3: Rebecca, Alexa and Kathy. So for these students, instead of A, their grade will be A plus. We are not checking the result here, we are just checking how many rows are affected. Actually, clearly you can see that there are 3 rows, and after the query being executed, we just counted the number of rows affected and we found that 3. So definitely these are the 3 rows that have been affected by this query very clearly. So this is just a bibliography. I hope you understood the portions. Database, MySQL database and Python connectivity. What are the steps? We have seen lots of steps also. So just to go back to those steps, just to rewind that, I'm now again going. These are the steps. 7 steps are there. Start Python, import the connector package. Connection has to be established using connect. Cursor has to be created using cursor. Query should be executed using execute function. Result set should be extracted. Once the query is executed, result will be extracted in cursor. Then the connection has to be closed. These are the important steps to remember. Thank you.